とかちゃん。ごめんね。
Wow, did you kiss that brick before throwing it? Takopi is an alien from the Happy Planet. You think of Happy, you think of him. He's here to spread happiness throughout the universe, and he picked the one planet that hates it. That's how he met Shizuka. She's 9, doesn't face at the fact that there's a talking octopus. Did you know that male octopuses die after they fuck? Yeah, and after we the female herself while f***ing the chicken. When God sings with his creations, will an octopus not be a part of the choir? You know, the last anime I watched about an octopus, that didn't end very well. Takopi's from the Happy Planet. Everything there is just smiles and sunshine. He has these happy gadgets that can make you fly, turn back time, store anything, maybe a body. He knows little of these so-called humans and struggles to grasp human emotions. So he doesn't recognize a young girl being bullied when he sees one. But you saw that beat up back. You saw those words and what they mean. You start noticing the gloominess around Shizuka, how her stuff is always missing, how she clings onto her dog more than her own mother. It's all these little stuff that Takopi just can't get a hint. He can't read the room, so everything has to be spelled out for him, and that kind of pisses you off, but he tries his best, shoveling anything to make Shizuka happy, and vows to one day make her smile a great, big, happy smile. Fuck! Takopi's original sin is a 6-episode trauma speedrun. It literally starts with a warning and a link to a suicide hotline. And one of Takopi's gadgets just so happens to be a rope that never breaks, so you do the math. Shizuka is being bullied. You know that now, so you direct all that hatred onto the bully, this bitch that just always picks on Shizuka. And this is not Disney Channel. It's not gonna be safe. It's not gonna be lighthearted. It scares her to the point she holds up in the bathroom. There's always someone that has it worse, and Shizuka is that person. The girl's 9, being brutally, and I mean brutally, bullied in school. The dad left and the mom doesn't even care if she's alive. She's neglected in every shape or form. She's 9. Takopi's original sin is a story you have to approach with empathy. I pictured when I was 9 and my life felt like heaven compared to hers. She's literally living in hell. There's nothing to look forward to waking up. The only thing that keeps her going is her dog. And when that gets taken... Remember that camera that turns back time? Yeah, let's just spam that shit until all is good, huh? 1 time, 2 times, 3. No matter how many times they repeat the past, Chappie gets taken. It's a canon event orchestrated by this girl to tear Shizuka's life apart. You wish she was dead. And that's your original sin. Takopi's original sin is a story you have to approach with empathy, because behind every problematic child are adults that are just as, if not even more problematic. You could look at 100 cases of child crime and 99 of them stem from child neglect. And the author understands that very well. It's not just Shizuka's story you're watching, it's also hers and his. This kid's the class rep and you'd wish he has a happy backstory, but no. Behind all 3 of these kids are adults that should have worn a condom. If you can't raise a child, then don't fucking have one. That is my empathy speaking. I'm of the belief that no child is born evil. It's always the environment they grew up in. I remember this one time I saw this family having dinner, and the son told the mom to shut the fuck up. Literally, with the F word. And that kid was like 6. I was about to smack him in the head until the father said the exact same thing to the mom. The story accurately depicts child abuse, bullying, depression, trauma, and suicide, all told through the lens of a cute alien trying to spread happiness on Earth. But that innocence fades once he sees the dark reality these kids live in. It's not for the faint of heart, that's what they said, but I genuinely can't tell where the line is. I watched Made in Abyss while eating and almost threw up, so I'd say that's pretty close. The show's not gore heavy, it focuses more on psychological horror and emotional trauma. There are dark, unsettling moments that are very uncomfortable to watch, but very much happening to someone right now. And the way you respond to these scenes or this entire show says a lot about your upbringing. It highlights how adults avoid accountability and how kids end up paying the price. You put 3 neglected children together and it's a spiral down into destruction. They are only 9, that's what most people don't understand. It's not just the number, it defines their character, their actions. You can't hate them because they don't know any better. Every one of their stories were so realistically depicted that it's traumatizing to watch. They need some jug shots, you know? I actually struggled to make this video because it's so similar to the anime I covered recently. March Comes In Like a Lion is a story about a boy navigating through grief and depression alongside people who care. People who care! They both have similar themes, but both approach them very differently. Takopi's more cruel, while March warms your heart. One of the stories involved bullying, and the victim ended up having depression and had to transfer schools. It was a gang against one, and if you take the minority side, you're the next victim. So no one said anything, no one saw anything, and the victim just accepts her fate. But not Hina, this sweet girl that's not afraid to do the right thing even if it ends up getting her in trouble. And that's exactly what happened. She was the next victim. But I'm not here to yap about the horrible things they do to her or how the bully was also neglected by her mom. We've been through this already. What I want to talk about is the perfectly mature way of how adults handle the situation. This is one of the most underrated scenes in anime. The bullying got so bad that a homeroom teacher collapsed from anxiety, so another teacher was called in. It was the head teacher. Now normally this is the part where he starts shouting and calls out the bullies and starts whipping their ass. You instill fear in them so they won't do it again. But not this guy. He didn't even raise his voice. He calls out each student and consults them one-to-one. It was evident that this girl was behind them all, so they called in her mom. And this bitch just crashes out. How dare you accuse my daughter? Where's the proof? This girl could be lying. And I remember saying, well fuck, she's got a point. I thought she had us checkmated, but this guy is good.
冗談じゃないわ。そんなの、その子が嘘ついてたらどうするのよ。何の証拠にもならないじゃない。口ではね、何とでも言えるでしょ。
じゃあ川本が嘘をついているって証拠は？
In the end, everything de-escalated and the bullies ended up apologizing. Except that's not the end. No. You think there was any sincerity in those apologies? Fuck no. She had to do it because she had to, so she just did. If I apologized, then everything will be forgiven, right? This guy continued to consult her every day after that. As long as she was in school, they would have a talk. He knows the mom isn't gonna help, and yet he doesn't give up on her. He needs to make sure she is aware of what she has done, and this girl couldn't care less. There's no one that would understand how she feels, so it's pointless. And this guy is really good.
先生には私の気持ちなんてわかんないよ。
だから今聞いてるんだよ。話そうぜ。
Takopi's original sin is a story you have to approach with empathy. But empathy without understanding can be destructive. It's like when you're crying and someone says, "Oh, don't cry." Fuck! Why didn't I think of that? Takopi is sent to spread happiness across the universe, and he stumbles upon a girl that wants to kill herself. He knows he can't let that happen, so he desperately projects whatever he thinks is fun to stop her. But he never really tried to understand how Shizuka feels, how any of them feel. He just keeps spamming his time machine thinking it could heal all wounds, but instead it just got deeper. That's the same thing that'll happen when you try to help someone without understanding them first. You assert what you think is right for them and end up fucking things up even more. And if that's the case, then you're probably better off not helping at all. It takes time and patience, that's what you gotta understand. You realize none of them were really at fault. You can't really blame them. In fact, you feel bad for them. All of them. So the fingers start pointing to the adults, and some might say, oh, but it's their first time being parents. It's their first time living as well. Yeah, but you've been through life as a kid. You know what it's like to have abusive parents. You know how it feels to be neglected. If we were to keep passing the blame, then the cycle will never end. So naturally, the buck has to stop with someone, and it shouldn't be the 9-year-olds or the 15-year-olds. It's us, the adults, that have to step in before it's too late. But if the adults save the kids, then who's gonna save the adults? See, the story makes it so easy for you to point fingers at the adults and say they're the real bad guys. But I like to think this is something way beyond that, because suicide doesn't discriminate. There could be parents who never once abuse their child or neglect them, and you think all is well until the next day you find a note on the table. I know there are parents, adults that put up a happy face, but deep down, they're breaking. That's when this whole age thing has to be taken out of play. Oftentimes, it's the adults who care for the children. That's usually how it's supposed to play out, but I don't want to disregard anyone. There is no octopus that will magically save us. We have to save ourselves. This is a tragic but hopeful story about understanding others deeply and taking responsibility. The bullying won't stop until you confront the underlying problem. To fix a problem, you have to face what's causing it. That's when true happiness is found, not from avoiding or rewinding it. People with suicidal thoughts are not just gonna tell you their problems. I know many prefer not to talk about it, and that's okay. Just be there. I don't care if you're 16 or 66, just be there. Be there to lend a shoulder for them to lean on. Be there to hear the cries they pour out. Be there to stop this cycle of trauma. Be there to take responsibility. Be there to love and care for them. Just...
My face, I feel like a balloon. My face is all swollen because of the medication that I'm on. I really haven't been eating ice cream and candy. I really have.
I got rotten egg or something else.
3, 2, 1, go.